Protect yourself and your family from unexpected challenges. Consider accident-only income protection. Click the link in the description to find out more.
You want anything bad enough? Don't make excuses. You gotta lose your time and your sleep for it. You find a way.
Boxing King Media in association with SaveMoreMoney.com. It's a late one. Delighted to be joined by Spencer, the Knowledge Fearon. Spencer, brother, how are you doing?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good, even better for speaking to you, even though it's way past midnight right now. But you know what? You're lucky he's up because I was watching Kevin Hart and Chris Rock. So, yeah, it's all good.
Good, man. I'm going to shout out. See, you got a charity. I'm assuming it's a charity. Save One Life on your hoodie. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Oh, yeah. Save One Life is a charity that's been set up to help people of Palestine in the Gaza. I was very fortunate myself and Amir Khan. I did the interviews and Amir Khan did the talking, but it was incredible. Thanks to Platinum Promotions, thanks to Legal Blows. And they all worked together in alliance. We put this together, and in 2 nights we raised £374,000 for the Gaza, for the families who have been affected, and it was absolutely excellent. And I'm really, really grateful for that. To tell you the honest truth, and I've had a lot of this year of 2023, but being there for that has been the highlight of my year. Seriously, that's been the highlight of my year. And I intend to do more stuff with Platinum Promotions and Legal Blows to raise as much money as possible to help the needy. And at the same time, I'm also, I'm going to be doing something in the new year to help our brothers and sisters in the Congo, because what's going on over in the Congo right now is absolutely disgusting as well. But firstly, let's take what's banging our face, and what's banging our face right now is the atrocities that are going on in the Gaza Strip, which is really, really horrible. And I don't want to get too political, but just listen to me. Netanyahu, don't try and involve Africa in your thing, because I just see a recent quote of yours saying he's going to be calling on Africa and to help out Africa with resources and all the rest of it. When before any of this was going on, you weren't looking on Africa. So leave Africa alone, bro. That's the end of my rant. I can see the comments right now, but I just got to say these things.
No, credit to you for raising over $250,000 for a humanitarian causes, and respect to you for doing that.
Thank you, bro.
Let's jump straight into it. Day of Reckoning. It was built as Day of Reckoning, and I'm going to go through the fights individually. I'll go down the card first. I'm going to start with Gerald Miller, Danial Dubois. A lot of people couldn't make their mind up on that fight. Everyone was questioning, would Daniel survive past 6 rounds? If it goes past 6 rounds, Miller's going to stop him. That's basically what the narrative was. Obviously Daniel dominated the early rounds, but then middle rounds where he was faced to question everything people were saying about him. How did you read them rounds? Daniel's body language, where it appeared like Miller was coming on top.
I thought Daniel acquitted himself handily. And I also call for his father, David Dubois, to get a seconds license to work in his son's corner. Simply because, you got to give credit where it's due. Here's a man he's got quite a few children who all live in the same house, and they're under a regime. And it's things like boxing is the regime that they're under. I think he's done excellently well in raising his children. He's a strong disciplinarian, but me coming from a West Indian background, I rate that. But I do think that his dad, because there's loads of times when Don Charles was giving him instructions, say, Daniel, do this, Daniel, do that, and I see him looking over to his dad for confirmation. And I think that his dad should be working in his corner as well. That's what I do believe. But credit where it's due. Daniel Dubois weathered the storm in certain times in there, and he fought a hell of a fight. And credit has to also be given to Don Charles. Here we've seen a young man in Daniel Dubois that was on his toes and bouncing and throwing out throwing out jabs. You don't really see that in heavyweights. But we saw that in Daniel Dubois. I'm talking the late rounds, the one who's doing that. So credit to Don Charles, credit to Daniel Dubois. I remember when everyone was taking the mickey at Daniel Dubois, calling him triple knee, saying he's taking more knees than Black Lives Matter, Daniel Kaepernick, all that kind of stuff. He has to go.
I saw that.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So for him to go and do that and to fight the way that he did, all the credit in the world to him, because the majority of insiders didn't believe that he was going to come through that fight. But then you also got to take it into real consideration. Big Baby Miller's been out for 2 years. Big Baby Miller is not really noted as a puncher, right? But what Big Baby Miller is very, very good at, he's flamboyant with rhetoric, right? And give him his juice, because he can actually fight. But I think more of the thing was about Daniel's mental state, and was he going to fold under the pressure? And he proved that he didn't fold under pressure and came out on top, and well done to him. And now he's back in the mix. And let's talk about him and AJ fighting each other now.
I do love that. I'm going to come back to that. You as an ex-boxer, could you kind of try and explain to people watching what it must be like facing a guy that's almost 100 pounds heavier than you, that's just walking you down, and also in that moment he's questioning everything people are saying about him. That's a lot to deal with, isn't it? Like, describe it. What is it actually like facing a guy that's 100 pounds heavier?
Well, I don't know, because I was fortunate to box as a light middleweight. Right?
I mean, from sparring, maybe. I don't know. You must have sparred
I used to
heavyweight.
spar bigger men, no doubt. Yeah, I mean, I still spar big people now. I mean, I'm getting old. I would say, like, the pressure that Daniel Dubois must have been under must have been immense. But I think the nice thing is, like, in the back of his head, he was saying, I'm going to show people that I'm better than this. And you also got to realize he's relatively young. He's 26 years old, you know. He's not been a pro for a hot minute now, because he turned pro when he was 19, 20. But I think, like, there's been a lot of pressure put on him. And sometimes it's been pressure of, his family, his own community, that kind of pressure. But he acquitted himself amiably. So because of that, then we got to say salute to him. And that pressure must have been hard for him. But I think now we're going to see a better Daniel Dubois, because he's proven to himself that, look, I'm not a quitter. I can rumble. And not only that, he's incredibly fit. You know what I mean? For you to go pull out the stoppage in the last round, when that's the time when you think, well, it's close, but I think I've got it in the bag. So therefore, let me just coast. And that wasn't his intended desire. His intended desire was to get a stoppage win, and that's what he got. So salute to all of his team. You know what I mean? I congratulate him.
Shout out to Don Charles. Sometimes the coaches don't get the credit, and a lot of people were kind of questioning Daniel going to Don Charles back in the day, and obviously when he left Shane, and obviously whatever the reasons were. But Don, I feel like, has played a huge part in kind of getting Dan through that fight.
Yeah, well, 100%. 100%. I remember when they originally spoke about trainers, and I spoke to his dad about trainers, and I was saying, like, what about Don Charles? Simply because Don Charles just needed a guy with the tools to go and administer to do certain things. And I'm happy for Don that he's getting an Indian summer in professional boxing. And I enjoy that, because I remember when people were rubbishing Don Charles a lot. Oh, he can't train, he can't do it. But I've heard this about a lot. I've been in the game a long time. Every trainer that comes up, and I remember when people say Joe Gallagher couldn't train. And here's a man that went on, got multiple world champions, and he was Ring Magazine Trainer of the Year. You know what I mean? So it's like, in this sport, you got to be tunnel visioned, and you got to be blinking, and you also got to get earmuffs on as well, so you have no distractions. So fair play to Don Charles. I'm very, very happy for him. He's very supportive for me over the years, especially like when my mom died. You know what I mean? And like, sometimes me and Don will have fallings out. That's just life. That's just how we are. But we're tight. He's my bigger bro. So I'm really, really happy for Don.
I think Dom Mingle, when I spoke to him the other day, he said an interesting point. He goes, any man that's capable of bringing a young Derek Chisora through boxing is capable of doing things like that. I think he was basically just raising the point about the fact that he trained Derek Chisora through his crazy years in a complimentary way.
Yeah, I hear that, but Derek Chisora is still crazy. But you know what I mean?
Yeah. More controlled crazy now, I think. I'll tell you a quick word on Gerald Miller as well. We saw in the build-up, and a lot of people have got an opinion about him, that he comes across as brash, loud, etc. I must say, I don't know if you've met him personally, but what a humble man
No, I've
off
known him for
camera.
years.
Such
I've
a
known him
nice
for
guy off
years. I
camera.
saw I saw the video that you did that went viral of him taking
Mm.
his shahada. Um, you know what I mean? To people that don't know, that's his confirmation of becoming a Muslim. I saw that and I thought that was very, very touching. And you know what? I know them going out to Saudi, he got paid well, right? He got a few $1 million for that fight. Um, he would have never got that kind of purse anywhere else. That's not more. But the nicest thing is like maybe that was like the tipping point of him being in Saudi Arabia that helped him to take that step towards becoming a Muslim. You know what I mean? Allah Alam, Allah, God knows best. But you know what I mean? He's been through a lot himself. And I think he's a moral victor simply because he embraced Islam. But you still got things of your past that you need to be acquitted for. And you've done some shady things in your past. So maybe this will lead you now on the right path. Do you know what I mean? Maybe. I hope so. You know what I mean? But I think that's a beautiful thing that he took his shahada.
Yeah, I got
Like, it seems kind of fashionable now because lots of boxers now are becoming Muslim now. You know what I mean? What's going on there?
I'm going to speak to you about that. That's my last topic to speak to you about. But it was
Okay,
quite
we'll get
interesting.
to it later. That's
It,
cool.
it was quite interesting to get to know him on a personal level. And I saw a lot of people questioning him doing that, saying that he's doing it for money, etc. But I spoke to his coach Jihad and James Ali Bashir, and so this journey he's been on has been going on for about 4 or 5 years. So it wasn't the case of him being in Saudi. Uh, a lot. So when you spend time with people, as you know, you get to know things that you probably wouldn't, that aren't public. So it's worth putting that out there. Um, the next fight I want to speak to you about is Joseph Parker Wilder. Obviously, I know you've already kind of reviewed the fight, but the bits I want to speak to you about, Spence, is the Deontay Wilder's tactics. I've seen some criticism go towards Malik Scott, people saying that he was trying to make Wilder box, make him do things that he wasn't comfortable doing, and he just looked out of place and he could never set his shots up. Other narratives are that he was inactive, not fought for a long time. And obviously, the other opinion is that Joseph Parker's tactics were just that good that he couldn't land a shot. How did you see it?
Um, I saw it like this. Let's not take away nothing from Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker went in there with the right game plan to fight a 100% Deontay Wilder. Now, I see a lot of stick is now being thrown out to Deontay Wilder's trainer. And he's getting a lot of stick. And this is boxing. This is just how it goes. And he's got to take that because, you know what I mean? Sorry, I forgot his trainer's name, because I'm so tired.
Malik Scott.
I'm joking, right? So Malik Scott is a very, very good trainer, right? But you haven't trained nobody yet to get the straps of being a very good trainer. We were giving you your accolades when Deontay Wilder fought Tyson Fury for the first fight because we saw the changes in Deontay Wilder, even though he came up second best in that fight, but we saw the changes. But I think on the time that he's been away, I think Deontay Wilder is listening too much to the criticism of his lack of boxing skill. And what he should have done, it's easier said than done now because the fight's done, but is to revert back to type and gone out swinging. And don't matter about if you're missing, but just go out swinging because you know it only takes one. But I think with Deontay Wilder, for me, to be honest, I think his interest is not in boxing anymore. Here's a young man that from walking in the gym, was it like 18 months he's in the Olympics or some madness like that. Then he won a bronze medal. You know what I mean? He boxed, he was undefeated for how long? Then he fought for a world title, wins a world title, he's made very, very good money. He's made good money. He's been a world champion like for a very long time. equaled Muhammad Ali's defenses of 10 defenses of world title fights. What else is there for Deontay Wilder to do? You can see that Deontay Wilder's at peace with himself, right? When I saw Deontay Wilder at the press conference, which they had over here in Wembley, and I remember Gareth A. Davis coming to me and saying, "Oh, Deontay Wilder's a prince. He just how he conducted himself and blah. And look how Anthony Joshua came across like as a thug and blah." And I'm saying, I rated how Deontay Wilder conducted himself, but this is the fight game. So when someone's being overly philosophical, you can't be overly philosophical with the brutality of what this sport is. And he was being, and I could see that. And then maybe it's just like, bro, I've made a bag of money. I'm rich. I'm famous. I've got a beautiful wife and I've got lovely children. Praise be to God. I'm good. Because I didn't see no desire inside of Deontay Wilder. I didn't see desire in him, right? And the maddest thing is this. I know there will be desire in him if he was to fight Anthony Joshua because they've got something there between them. But regardless of that, the fight was signed and you stumbled at the hurdle. Anthony Joshua didn't stumble at the hurdle. And if I was Anthony Joshua, I wouldn't need to fight Deontay Wilder. You wouldn't need to fight him. And that's the God's honest truth. I don't want to hear no excuse about anything else. What I'm saying to Malik Scott is this, and he knows better. There's game plans that need to be implemented in fights, right? And if one thing isn't working, then you've got to change the game plan. So I don't know what, maybe he was trying to tell Deontay to go change the game plan or the rest of it, but it didn't work. But here you could see in the fight, Andy Lee devised structured game plans in that fight. Yeah, I mean, getting Joseph Parker to jab to the body, something that he doesn't do a lot of, right? He usually jabs to the body, then he comes over with a left hook. He weren't doing that in this fight. He was jabbing to the body, timing it, waiting to go with an overhand right. People who don't study the game can't see the implementation of the game plans that were administered. I could see it, and credit to Andy Lee, credit to Joseph Parker for not only for the implementation, but the demonstration of what was implemented. So, you know what I mean? All the credit in the world to him. I'm not taking nothing away from Joseph Parker. When I heard that fight being mentioned, the night before, I spoke to Ron McIntosh of BBC Radio, did a commentary, and JD Dyer, who works for TNT. And I said, you know what? Joseph Parker's going to beat Deontay Wilder because something didn't sit right with me. And those guys persuaded me to think otherwise. They laughed at me. And I was just saying, I saw Joseph Parker's last fight when I was out in Saudi for the Ngannou Fury fight with you. I saw Joseph Parker, as far as I was concerned, I've done the interview with you, and I said, Joseph Parker, to me, seems better than when he was world champion. And now he's just proved it, so all the credit in the world to him.
Definitely. So, do you think that, just the last thing on Wilder, the weight loss, again, I'm going to refer to Dominic Ingle. He talked a lot about his legs, saying that his legs didn't look like they were there beneath him when he was trying to let his hands go. Do you
They
think
didn't. Listen, I've never seen his legs look that skinny, even though his legs are skinny. But he looked ridiculous how his legs look. He looked uber thin. But you know what? End of the day, I'm not saying nothing bad about Deontay Wilder. What he's accomplished has been amazing, right? So I'm not going to rubbish anything that the guy's done, because I know there was a time where nobody weren't ready to go and fight that guy. Nobody wanted to go next it. Credit in the world that Tyson Fury went up against him, but nobody weren't in a rush to say they're going to fight Deontay Wilder. So, you know, it is what it is. This is the game. This is the sport that we love, and this is a sport that is very opinionated. So it is what it is.
Moving on to Anthony Joshua, Wallin, and the majority of the experts I spoke to in the build-up to the fight, this was a fight everybody was saying there could be a slip-up. Everyone expected Wilder to win easily, but nobody expected AJ to win in the fashion that he did. But obviously, we've seen since the win, I've seen a few interviews, and people are kind of raising the question on Wallin being picked as the opponent based on, you know, AJ sparring, using him as a sparring partner, and also AJ having 2 wins over him in the amateurs. So just want to get your opinion on that. You know, just tell me what you think. Just on the selection of Wallin initially, do you think them factors played a part? The fact that AJ knew basically everything about him from sparring and fighting him twice in the amateurs?
I would say when it comes to Anthony Joshua, right, it doesn't matter about who the opponent was, because bottom line is this: Wallin is better on paper than Franklin and Hellenius. He's higher ranked than those guys, right? He's only got one loss in his record, and that was against Tyson Fury. And I'm telling you, if that fight was anywhere else in the world and not in Las Vegas, Tyson Fury would have got stopped on that high, right? Wallin is a good fighter. You know what I mean? Just got a brilliant win over Gassiev, holds a concubok record for the most jabs thrown in a fight in history. So we got to give him all the credit in the world. He boxed a really, really good fight against Tyson Fury, and he had a game plan to go in there against Anthony Joshua. Anthony Joshua has become the original Ghostbuster, because what he's done right now, he's exorcised the demons in him. You can see it in him. You can see it by his swagger. You can see where he's saying, like, I'm going to show you guys something, and I'm going to make all you guys eat your words. And I respect that. You know what I mean? He's been a bit flaky with certain people. When certain people are trying to talk to him, he's like, because he's been totally tunnel vision. And I rate that. And I'm glad, because I remember I was saying on your channel, if Franklin was to go over 6 rounds, that Anthony Joshua should retire. Remember that?
I remember that.
I got loads of criticism over it. Now
Dave,
I have to ask all of you people now, the Anthony Joshua that we saw on the weekend, would Franklin go 6 rounds with him? Do you think he got? I'm asking a question. Do you think Franklin will go 6 rounds with him?
I wouldn't know. I think Franklin
Okay,
is a hard.
you
Is a
can't
hard
say
man.
because let me tell you this: Franklin would have gone 6 rounds with that Anthony Joshua. I'm telling you this now, right? Would not. And the reason why I was saying, because I believe in Anthony Joshua, and I'm seeing somebody start to believe in themselves right now. So it's like Neo in the Matrix. He's starting to believe, and that's what he's doing. He's done that, and he performed admirably, and I congratulate him for performing in the way that he did. I don't care that people say, oh, but it was only Wally and he was handpicked and blah, blah, and all the rest of it. This is a business. By the end of the day, the business can't run if you're not mentally here. And he was mentally there. And I keep on saying, you know what I mean? If there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do no harm. And that's what we saw with Anthony Joshua on Saturday night.
What you said there, he exercises demons. Why should he? How can he be in that position when, if I'm looking at it as an outsider, this guy beat Klitschko, won an Olympic gold medal. He was a unified heavyweight world champion.
This guy got knocked out against Ruiz. This guy got beaten twice on points by Usyk. So of course there's going to be demons there. Pardon me?
Just as an example, obviously the 2 Usyk losses, they were both on points. The second one was a lot closer. I'm just trying to, for somebody watching.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice. But he still lost, right? He still lost. And that's when I was saying about, well, maybe Anthony Joshua needs some real people around him to tell him the truth or to break down the truth to him. But then how it goes is this: when you reach a certain level, people can't really open up their mouth too much, because you know what? You're going to be out of a job. So I'm glad now that Anthony Joshua is performing that way. And that's that. And I wanted to continue to have that same tunnel vision.
What do you think of the
anything that I say about Anthony Joshua, which could be deemedly seen as critical, is said out of love, because I want the best for him. There's a difference. When certain people say about Anthony Joshua, they don't really want the best of him. I actually want the best for Anthony Joshua. You know what I mean? And it's been reciprocated on certain personal things between me and him. So it's all love. So, you know what I mean?
What do you think of the Ben Davison factor? Because it's still not certain whether they'll stay together, and obviously how much
of course he's going to stay. But let me tell you this: Derek James is out of a job. Okay, Derek James is down at the next job center. He ain't working with Anthony Joshua no more. You know what I mean? I'm going to be real with you, and I like Derek James, but you're out of a job, right? Because it didn't click with Anthony Joshua, because we was waiting for a performance like that, which we saw from Anthony Joshua. It doesn't mean that he's not a good trainer. Doesn't mean that he's not a better trainer than Ben Davison. But he's not a better trainer for Anthony Joshua than Ben Davison is, because maybe it's the surroundings. Maybe it's the fact that he's in the UK. Maybe it's something different. Maybe it's because Ben Davison is a younger you, and he's looking to pick fault in him to think, right, you don't really know this thing like that. You know what I mean? But what Ben Davison is very good at is figuring out key shots and simplifying it. You know what I mean? Because he hasn't got that girth of experience to say, well, you're going to do this, this, and this, and this. And you ain't got that. You keep it simple. Anthony Joshua's a finely tuned athlete. He's an assassin. Anthony Joshua, getting fit, getting ready to throw key pinpoint punches, and that's it. And then you're going to see major results. And that's what we saw on Saturday.
And the next opponent, that's why I didn't want to talk about Dubois earlier. I personally think it's a great fight, but obviously the names and the profiles, obviously there's a big difference in profiles. But Dubois, AJ, there's no chance of that happening next, is there? And if not, who do you think the both should fight
Yes, there
next?
is. Yes, there
You
is.
reckon?
There is the massive possibility of that fight happening. You know what I mean? And that fight should happen. But then we're going to know, like, if that fight does happen, is one guy taking it for the money, right? And is the other guy taking it for an easy payday? That's the question that you have to ask. I want that fight to happen next, to tell you the honest truth. You know
Is
what I
it
mean?
is it without giving a prediction? Is it a close fight?
Yeah, because here is a young, well, it's a great fight because there are two men that are starting to believe in themselves now. You know what I mean? And when you believe in your belief becomes your reality.
I like that. I'm just imagining the press conference. It'll actually be quite hilarious. You know, see what Mr. David Dubois has up his sleeve for that, if that ever came off.
Yeah, we'll see.
The last thing I want to speak to you about, Spencer, is you mentioned it earlier. We've seen in recent weeks Gervonta Davis, Tony Harrison the other day, obviously Devin Haney, Jaron Miller, John O'Carroll, who I've been made aware of is looking to become a Muslim as well. Obviously, I don't want to go too deep into the whole faith factor, but I asked Dominic Ingle the other day as well, how important is faith in a boxer's career? Because I know you become Muslim in some part in your life as well. How does that change you as a person? And
So
what kind
there's
of
one second.
go
You're going
on.
like it's something new. I mean, I um I reverted to Islam 25 years ago, bro. It's not something new. It's not a new
25.
thing to me. It's not new. So whatever, when you're seeing people who are taking their shahada because they feel comfortable and they believe that that's the truth. Everybody in life, you're on a quest. And the quest is actually the question. That's what the quest is. You know what I mean? Because really and truly, everybody knows the answer. The answer is that we're here, we're born, we exist, we live. The major thing is that you got to spread love. And anybody can do anything that they want to do. But if it makes you morally and spiritually a better person, then go and do what you have to go and do. I think is a great thing. And like I'm saying, you're going to see more people who are going to convert to Islam, especially with this push to Saudi. And when people go out to Saudi Arabia, they'll see like, well, the stereotype that I had of this place isn't the place. They're going to see that. Just go there. It's a beautiful place. So, you know what I mean? I wish nothing but blessings on what Saudi Arabia are doing, and their push and their drive in for sport and entertainment. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, may God bless Turkey Al Sheikh, because it took this man to make certain fights to have a Christian, a Jew, and a Muslim sit down and make certain fights happen. Right? That sounds like a joke, right? It doesn't it, right? But certain things are happening. So because they're happening, that's a great thing. And that's the truth. It's a great thing.
Who's the Jew in that?
Who?
You
Who
said,
was Bob Arum's not Jewish?
oh yeah. I was thinking about who you're
Oh,
talking about. Yeah, okay.
okay. And also Demetrius Elia, is he not Jewish?
He is indeed.
Right.
He was there as well.
And he's a strong Jewish person as well,
Yeah.
who had to humble himself and say, well, thanks to His Excellency Turkey Al Sheikh. Exactly. So this is how this thing goes, man.
I will say just lastly, because we've got a minute left before the time runs out. I saw people complaining about the noise levels in the crowd, but I will say when you sat in the arena there inside you when the big events are on, you feel safe. You know, no one's going to chuck a bottle of beer at you. You know, there's not going to be crowds of men scrapping nearby. But you feel safe. You can watch the boxing in peace.
Well, that's what Islam means, right? So, alhamdulillah. You know what I mean? End of the day is this, man. I don't care what religion you are. I don't care what your sexual preference is. I don't care about none of those kind of things, right? All I care is that you treat me with respect. If you do that, I'm going to do exactly the same to you.
Thank you, Spencer. Appreciate your time, and we'll catch up soon.
Love one, bro.
Thank you.
Ever been stranded on the side of a motorway with a broken down car? Like me, is that something that worries you? That's where motor breakdown insurance comes in. If your vehicle breaks down, a trained professional will be sent out to get you back on the road. Or if this is not possible within the specified time frame, to transport you to your home or to the nearest garage.
You want anything bad enough? Don't make excuses. You gotta lose your time and your sleep for it. You find a way.